How's it going, everyone? My name is Michael SK, and welcome back to Umineko When They Cry. The previous video was a little fun. Maria is acting a bit strange, a little bit odd, not her usual self, a little scary, actually very scary, a little concerning, actually. Let's be real here, I don't even know who Maria is anymore. No, definitely a lot of talk, obviously pretty much this entire playthrough so far, of Beatrice, but most definitely in the previous video, where the servants and Maria herself were saying that Beatrice exists, and Beatrice is here. So, whatever that means, right? Apparently the idea here is that Beatrice has existed here on this island all along, but she doesn't necessarily have a physical form anymore. And unless you have that certain wavelength, you can't see or interact with Beatrice. I think that's what we have going on here. Now, whether or not Beatrice committed these murders or somebody did for Beatrice remains to be seen. I want to continue to apply some logic here with this whole situation, but I don't know anymore. I really don't. So we'll just keep on riding this wacky roller coaster full of fun and mystery. After a meal, some people tend to head to the bathroom, while others prefer to relax for a bit. It seemed that several people had left the parlor, just like I did when I went to the kitchen to drink some water. In the end, Aunt Natsuhi reluctantly retracted her order, that everyone remain packed into the parlor. By the way, Natsuhi has a gun now. I think that might be important to note. On the condition that no one headed out on their own or strayed too far. In any case, if 11 people are shut up in the same room, starting early in the morning, the air will start to stagnate. Also, quite some time had passed, so everyone was starting to recover from the shock of that morning, and their sense of danger might have been weakening too, which is kind of bad. What time is it? 1 p.m. Okay, time is progressing slightly. However, it was a certain fact that 6 people had been killed inside this mansion. No one was completely negligent. So whenever they went out into the hallway for a breath of fresh air, trying to act tough, they would quickly get scared of standing there isolated and would eventually return to the parlor. I guess it's like the north wind and the sun. If you force someone to stay shut in, they'll resist, but if you tell them to do whatever they want, they'll come back obediently. People really do like not doing what they're told. Wait, people really do like not doing what they're told. Yeah, sentences. When the servants finished cleaning up from the meal, they returned obediently to the parlor, just as Aunt Natsuhi had told them to, and sat on a sofa near the entrance, patiently awaiting orders. What a fun get-together of family members, huh? Maria, almost as though she had suddenly finished playing witches, had returned to the pure Maria I knew well, saying, ooh, ooh. It's been a while since we've seen that Maria. What in the world happened back there? I hadn't felt even an atom of the presence of this person called Beatrice, who was supposedly standing behind me, invisible. However, it felt like I had glimpsed a little of that presence inside Maria.
確かに、マリアちゃんは魔女とかの話になると人が変わるね。
A lot more than her personality, George.
昨日、海岸でバトラ君も見たでしょ。
サソリのキーホルダーの時か。いや、あんな機嫌を損ねるみたいな感じじゃなくてよ。まるで二重人格みたいな感じで。
ああ。たまにそういうこともあるな。
That just happens. Okay, cool.
さっきマリアが魔法陣の話を始めた時みたいなやつ、たまーにあるぜ。気持ち悪いけどな。
I'm glad that it's actually getting brought up and not just like, skipped over a little bit here. I think that kind of happened a bit with Rika in Higurashi. Nobody noticed as much whenever her tone of voice completely changed and how she spoke differently. Apparently Jessica had spotted, I'm not going to pronounce that, but it's the laugh that Maria had a few times. I just happened to catch it at a bad moment and was pretty freaked out seeing it for the first time.
あれってのは何なんだ？マリアは二重人格か何かなのか？それとも本当に霊感が強かったりとかして そういうのに憑依されたりとかしちまうのかよ。
そういうのじゃないと思うよ。バトラ君にも経験ない？小さい頃、自分以外の誰かになりたかったなんてこと。
Yeah, maybe. I think that's, I don't know if that's common, but maybe. I have a feeling that maybe like, I don't know. That's a weird one. That's got me stumped. That's got me trying to dig through my memories. I mean, maybe like when you're playing a game or something with friends or, you know, people your age when you're a child. I don't know. When humans are born, no one has any individuality. However, when they reach their growth period, their sense of self starts to be born. They want to be different than other people. But since everyone else in their class is learning the same things at the same rate and being forced into the same lifestyle, of course they aren't going to find anything that makes them different from everyone else around them. Once they realize that, the first thing they do is to start breaking the rules. It's what's called the rebellious stage. Yeah, I know all about that. We've all kind of experienced that, whether it's ourselves or somebody else, right? Since everyone else follows the rules, they want to show off their individuality by breaking them. So even those who try to act tough, mocking everyone around them and calling them childish, can actually be viewed as cute kids searching for themselves if you look at it this way. Maria is not that case. Not at all, by the way. I'm lecturing about all this like I'm so smart, but I actually got it secondhand from George Aniki. I myself was one of those embarrassing guys who thought it was cool to act like a little bastard. Well, that was when I was at an age when you try to show off for the opposite sex.
成長期の根底には、子供から脱却したいというひよこが殻を破るのに似た衝動がある。子供と大人の違いは何かわかるかい？
年齢？それとも体格？
違うよ。
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. I was actually going to say that.
大人が子供を見下すのは人生経験が少ないからだよ。子供が何を言っても鼻で笑ってしまうのは世間知らずのくせにと見下しているからだよ。
It's actually freaky whenever you get into like a work situation. So let's say you work somewhere and you may be younger than somebody who just started working with you or something. But because you have so much more experience with where you work and maybe in the working world in general, you kind of have a sense of superiority and really just completely different lifestyle, personality, and everything than this other person, despite them living longer than you. It can get pretty weird.
ああ、そういうのわかるぜ。子供の頃って妙に人生ってもう悟り切ったようなことを口にして年長しゃぶりたくなるよな。
Oh man, I was a fucking idiot when I was a kid. Actually, watch any of my videos from like 10 years ago, and you guys will see just how much I have changed through experiences and whatever else. I'm a completely different person.
世の中甘くないとか、社会に出ればわかるとか、鼻で笑ってる。まあ実際そうなんだけど、子供的にはそういうのって見下されてるみたいでムカつくんだよな。
It is kind of messed up, but obviously I think we all do it. We do look down on kids because kids are kids. They're, you know, people that will eventually grow and become adults, but right now they're just brats. They're annoying. They aren't what we are yet.
これにより社会は幅広い技術を獲得して立脚する。神々の高度なプログラミングに驚かされるね。
Yeah, that's one way of putting it, I
個性が
suppose.
ネガティブに働くこともあるぜ。クラスみんなが真剣に勉強してるから、俺だけはサボって目立とうとかよ。
Okay, that last bit really was true about me. It's only recently that I've been able to thank the middle school teacher who slapped me after school.
でもまあ、誰も飛べない飛び箱を飛んでやりたいとか。
Honestly, there are a lot of cases where it's like, yeah, you eventually got to get your ass in gear.
成績のいい連中を周回遅れにさせてやるぜって、マラソンで全力疾走とか。そういう勉強はダメだったから、少なくとも運動では見返してやるぜって根性はあった。うん、なるほど。ちゃんと成長期してるな、俺。
男子ってやっぱり肉体的な方面に関心が向くよな。
At times, yes.
でもよ、同じ時期に女子は精神的な面に向きやすいんだよ。バトラーのクラスの女子にも 占いとか霊感とかそんなこと言ってる女子連中のグループがあったりしただろ？
Yes.
あ
At times.
あったあった。人の星座とか血液型とか聞いてきて。
There's still people around my age who do that. The thing is, like, I'm not saying that they're wrong for doing so or anything, but like that definitely seems to pop up for like a lot of people at like certain points in their lives.
とか笑われると大いにムカついたもんだぜ。
女子も成長期に入るとそういうのに興味が出るようになるんだよ。私はそうでもなかったけどさ。
つまりマリアがオカルトに関心を持つのは
I don't think that
年
this
頃
is
の女の
like
子としてはそう珍しくもないってことか。
I don't think this actually truly connects to what's going on here with Maria. Like, I know that we're trying to apply like a logical, real thing that occurs with humans as they, you know, naturally grow up. But I think this is like a case of Maria's just got some other bullshit going on in her life that might be having a connection with some wacky shit, maybe. I want to say it's that. For entertainment purposes, I want to say it's that. Even if we accept that, I wonder if it explains that creepy dual personality thing. Actually, I think I probably could accept that explanation more or less.
さっきも言った通り、大人になるというのは知識や経験を持つことを言う。
I mean, I don't mind like saying that she has multiple personalities or something, but I don't think that is the case at all.
だからそれを得るために子供たちはいろいろなことを学んで。
どうしてだ？
今挙げたキーワードはすべて子供の自分に知識や経験を直ちに付加できる幻想だからだよ。9歳の女の子も1000年を生きた魔女が私に憑依していると言い出せば1009歳のアイデンティティが得られるわけだからね。
Huh. Okay.
まあつまり勉強するのは面倒くさい。
Really interesting way of putting that.
でも人とは違うスキルを持って周りに威張りたい、ちやほやされたいっていう連中にとっては便利な妄想なんだよな。
So you could brag about something without having to work hard or study. I see. Isn't that a kid's greatest dream?
あとは子供からの脱却願望には必ず自分の理想像の自己投影が行われ、その願望の姿が別人格として形成されることが少なくない。バトラ君だって家と学校では多少キャラクターが違うということがあるんじゃないかな。多分家での自分の姿をクラスの友人たちに見せるのは恥ずかしいはずだよ。
I don't think that's dual personalities. I think that's just like everybody has that one, like, I don't know, fuck. How do I want to explain this? How do I want to explain me without like embarrassing myself, you know? Or getting too deep into it. I think a case for a lot of people, especially in my generation, those who play games but also like go to work and all that, like for me personally, I definitely act more mature, professional out and about, especially at work. But, you know, here at home, it's like, all right, guys, time to crack open these visual novels and time to hop on these games and, you know, show my very poor skills at said games. But at the same time, have a, you know, just a good old time or whatever. Definitely, you know, not explaining it well enough, but definitely two sides. But I don't want to say that's like multiple personalities.
学校の自分は自分のなりたい姿の投影で、家の自分は本来の姿だから。
What is the true self? Persona 5 asks.
キャラクターの使い分けというか、人格の多重化はごくごく当たり前だと言いたいわけか。
Actually, you can apply the Persona 5 explanation here. That whole game is all about like, you know, who's your true self behind the mask or whatever. Like you have to accept your true self or whatever, and then you unlock some cool powers. I don't know. You can say that a lot of people are two-faced, but not in the way of like, oh, they're lying, you know, but more so it's just how they act when they're out and about and how they act when they're not out and about. Maybe. I don't fucking know.
オカルトが好きな女子はそれを憑依と言ったり覚醒と言ったりするぜ。正直ドン引きするくらいにキャラを変える子もいるよ。男子にもいるだろ。キレたとか言ってやたらめったら粗暴キャラに変身するやつが。あれ本人はかっこいいと思ってるんだろうけど見てて痛いよな。
つまり おさらいするとだ。
Yes, please, because this is all a little bit much for me.
マリアくらいの年頃の女の子がさっきみたいな不気味な二重人格のようなものを見せてもそれほど珍しいものじゃないと言いたいのか？
I mean, I don't know. Kids are fucking weird, but I don't think that this is like a normal case whatsoever.
簡単にまとめるとそうい
A
うこと
normal
だね。
case of anything, that is.
アイデンティティは自己を形成するための大切なもの。それをバカにしたりするとかえってその殻に閉じこもってしまうこともある。だからほどほどに付き合ってあげるのが大切なんだよ。それを丸ごと受け入れてあげるのが親の包容力というものなんだけどね。
兄貴、それで独身って信じられねえぜ。もう子供が中学くらいに上がってそうな貫禄さ。
I was about to say, like, Battler, you better mind your words a little bit here. He wasn't gonna be single.
じゃあローザおばさんもあのマリアの二重人格についてはよく知っていたのかな？
知ってたぜ。ここだけの話。ローザおばさんはすっごく嫌がってた。
Yeah, it sort of seemed like Rosa was kind of fed up with, like, more than just the ooh thing with Maria. She did bring up that, like, she was just bullied for being different and for not trying to fit in. So there had to have been more than just the ooh thing.
気持ち悪いし、クラスでますます孤立を深めるだけだって。だからマリアがオカルトの話を始めたり、魔女みたいな声で笑い出したりすると必ずビンタしてたぜ。だからマリアもローザおばさんがいる時にはそういう話をしないようになったみたいだけど。
Maybe that thing back there was just a little game from a girl facing her growing period. Just a girl trying to show that she was different and independent by holding interest in witches and the occult. And since she wanted to be different from herself, young as she was switching between her normal personality and the personality of her ideal, a witch. At first, I had found that very disturbing. Well, I still do. I don't think any of this is actually what's going on here. I'm gonna be real with you guys. I think there's more going on here. But after being lectured by George Aniki, I felt like this was a path everyone walked down at one time or another. You know what? Never mind. He's fucking right. You know, back when I was like 5 or 6 years old, all I could think about was the witch. I haven't told anyone, but when I was in kindergarten, I joined up with a little gang of kids trying to form an Earth Defense Force, saying that we would help protect peace on Earth. My face turns red when I remember how, during what we called battle practice, we would chant EDF, EDF. I mean, that's just kids playing, you know, games and shit. I don't think that's weird whatsoever. That's just kids, you know, playing games, you know? Using their imagination as much as they can, because once you grow up, you kind of lose that shit. But I will say this, I mean, back whenever I was younger, like, we would probably do the same thing, me and my friends. Probably like Power Rangers, though. Just using our imagination. But at the end of the day, that's all it was, and I think we knew that. Just like usual, Maria was relaxing, immersed in the TV, ooh-ooing, and laughing just like any girl her age. But on the inside, another personality, that of the ideal witch she respected and blindly accepted, was sleeping. But that wasn't anything extraordinary. It was perfectly natural for a girl of her age. Again, kinda doubt it. I've calmed down a little. The shock from my bizarre experience in the kitchen just now is fading away. I mean, yeah, you can say that this is like a whole different personality or whatever, but what about the servants? Because everybody was on the same page back there. Everybody. It wasn't just like them playing along with Maria. No, everybody was like there, equally on the same page, saying like, yeah, hey, Beatrice is like right behind your ass. If I hadn't talked to Aniki and Jessica, I might still be frightened by the idea that an invisible witch is standing right behind me. However, can I really accept that as an explanation for what happened back there? I'm not. 100% not. Sorry, gamers. You guys can have your own theories, but mine ain't that. If it had just been Maria, I could have explained it as the fickle delusions of a growing girl. But there it is. Genji-san, Kanun-kun, and Kumasawa Bachan had been there, or had also been there. none of them had denied what Maria said. They silently accepted that Beatrice exists. And with quotations, I was starting to feel a little uneasy, so much for calming down. Aunt Ava's position was that no 19th person existed. Yeah, that the crime was an inside job tied to the family quarrels. On the other hand, Aunt Natsuhi's position was that the culprit was hiding somewhere outside the mansion. So she rejected the possibility of an inside job and supported the idea that a 19th person existed. And honestly, I'm gonna roll with that because I'm sure everybody has their hidden vendetta, as we saw in the previous day, that everybody wants money for their own personal gain or personal reason. But there might be more than meets the eye. And in the kitchen, Maria and the servants had also supported the idea of a 19th person. But according to them, this 19th person isn't human. They said it was an invisible witch carrying out some mysterious plan. Is there a 19th person or not? And is the culprit human or a witch? For some reason, I couldn't just laugh off any of those possibilities. Not even the most ridiculous story about the witch. I've got many hours in town of Salem. You guys better be fucking ready if there's a witch here. If there's a real witch. And we will find out.
ベアトリーチェの話ってのは、俺の認識では森に子供たちが迷い込まないようにってんで作った大人の脅し話だってことになってんだが、この屋敷じゃ違うのか？
私もバトラと同じ意見だぜ。こんなのは子供に言うことを聞かせるために親が作った間抜けな怪談だと思ってる。でもそうだと口にはできない空気が屋敷内にあることは否めないな。
おじいさまがベアトリーチェは存在すると公言されているからね。
Oh, he's done more than proclaimed. He also screams her name and shit.
使用人たちは立場上
He goes
それを疑い
crazy
な
with
し。
Beatrice.
クラウスおじさんたちもおじいさまと喧嘩がしたいわけもないから表向きは口を揃えてる。
Well, the servants also have their own story, where there's the master of the day and master of the night, and the master of the night is supposedly Beatrice.
だから多分このお屋敷ではベアトリーチェの存在を疑うことはある種のタブーだと思うんだよ。年に一度しか来ない僕たちと違ってね。そうでしょ。
Jessica took a deep breath in admiration. It looked like Aniki had guessed right.
ジョージ兄さんの言う通りだぜ。みんな腹の中じゃ信じてるわけじゃない。でも表向きはその存在を認めてる。ほら、神様の存在を認めるような実際にはいないことを知っててもそれを口に出して否定したら野暮みたいな空気だな。
使用人たちの間ではどういうことになってんだ？やっぱり雇い主のじいさまがいるって言ってんだから、それに口を合わせてるわけか？
I'm sure they've seen some shit. They've seen some weird things that just cannot be explained. And, maybe it's, something messing with the human mind. Maybe they're overworked and started seeing things. Your senses can get messed with pretty easily.
さあ、詳しくはわからないけど、使用人たちの間ではベアトリーチェの話はある種の怪談扱いになってるよ。ほら、昨日海岸でシャノンが話してくれたろ。夜見回りをしている時、不気味な何かを見かけたとか、そういう話。
Wait, what did she see? She did say something like that, didn't she? Back then, I thought she was just being really nice to help improve Maria's mood. But it felt like she was serious when she said it. That's right, she definitely said it. She definitely said the same kind of thing that Genji and the rest had all unanimously declared back in the kitchen.
他にも鬼火や輝く蝶々が舞っているのを見たという使用人も、カノン君もそれらしいものを以前夜の見回りの時に見たことがあると言ってました。
Well, the idea behind the butterflies was real.
あと最近ではお屋敷の中で深夜に不思議な足音をよく聞くと使用人の間で話題です。私たちは肖像画の中のベアトリーチェ様が姿を消してお屋敷の中を散歩しているんだろうと。ずいぶん前ですが、私もそうかもしれない足音を 夜の見回りの時に聞いたことがあります。
It's like in Phasmophobia when you're looking for the ghost and you just so happen to hear some footsteps, some loud-ass footsteps. That's right. She definitely said that. Exactly the same thing that I had been told just now.
ベアトリーチェ様のお怒りに触れたのだろうと噂し合ったそうです。
I'm pretty sure that lines up with what we had just heard from the servants. I think, maybe?
敬わないとお怒りに触れて怪我をする。つまり使用人たちにとってベアトリーチェって存在は、お稲荷さんにいたずらしたらお狐様のたたりがあるってくらいには信憑性があるわけだ。
Ooh, new terms. I think that may have just updated our tips. Maybe. Did it? Yep, right here. Inari and the Kitsune. Inari is the Shinto god of foxes, agriculture, fertility, rice, tea, and sake, and is one of the most revered and major of the Shinto gods. Inari is depicted differently by time and place, and may be male, female, or even a plurality of gods, Over a third of Japan's Shinto shrines are dedicated to Inari, and feature torii and statues of Kitsune. The Kitsune are white foxes that are Inari's benevolent messengers, but they can be malicious and bring about grave disasters. Alright, that sounds pretty reasonable. I think I've heard variations of that. Of course, even though everyone accepts that curses and the like don't exist in the modern era, people are still afraid and still have a little respect for them. You often see it when in a residential area, someone is building a house and they call a Shinto priest for a ceremony to honor the god of that plot of land. You might think that was just a big waste of time and money, but it is said that if the workers don't do that, a big accident will occur, so they never neglect to do it. You also hear about how if an Inari shrine is carelessly removed during a town replanning, there would be a curse by Kitsune-sama. I think I might have read somewhere that when the occupying forces were trying to expand an airport, they tried to remove an Inari-san that was in the way, and the workers kept getting struck down by mysterious fevers. Even in modern cities like Tokyo, it wasn't rare to see modern buildings packed all around an old Inari shrine, leaving the shrine itself untouched. And this wasn't limited to Japan. It's probably similar to how foreigners baptize babies. If I remember right, by Christian doctrine, if unbaptized souls have even the slightest amount of sin, they will still go to hell. Ah, lovely. Putting water on a child's forehead doesn't do anything but make them cry. But if by doing just that, parents can prevent their children from going to hell, they will happily go through with that ceremony. Remember during COVID whenever, they had to, use a water gun or something because of social distancing? That was such an interesting sight. In short, even in this modern society of reason, we were still unable to throw away every trace of belief and fear. You could even say that we accept certain sorts of supernatural things, though in a passive way. Maybe the only difference on this island is that Beatrice is the object of that worship.
じゃあ、つまり、この島で、とても人間技とは思えない何かが起これば、朝出かけようとしたら、カバンが見つからないのもベアトリーチェの仕業だってふざけてたんだよね。
よく覚えてるな。
I mean, it could. I mean, if you have something going on that can't be explained and your shit's missing, then well, there you go.
普通なら妖精さんが隠したとでも言うところが、この島ではベアトリーチェがになるってだけの話だぜ。ま、そんなくったらない話さ。
このお屋敷も築30年くらいになるそうだからね。それだけになれば多少の怪談やオカルトは生まれてくるものだよ。学校の七不思議なんかのようにね。
そこでチェス盤をひっくり返すぜ。
Oh, he said the thing.
つまりこの島では人間にはできないことはベアトリーチェの仕業と置き換えることができるルールがあるってわけだ。
Uh-huh.
人間にはできないこと。人間は何人だ？ 18人だ。
Well, there were.
つまり犯人はこの島のルールにのっとって。
完璧なタイミングでってのはどういう意味だい？
ああ、 だって事件は深夜から未明にかけて起こったのは
Yeah, I think the timing is like maybe 2 a.m., I think is what everybody's agreeing on.
深夜まで話し合いをしてたり不可視の19人目をアピールするためには死んだ6人以外の12人が全員白であることが確定している状況下で行われなければならない
Which right now we don't have.
疑わしい人間がゼロにならなきゃ自分の存在をアピールできないんだよだから全員のアリバイが一番あやふやになる深夜の時間帯は19人目にとって自分が一番あやふやになる時間帯でもあるにもかかわらず
そんな時間に犯行を起こせば18人の誰かが疑われるのは明白にもかかわらずマリアに手紙を渡して魔女を名乗り誰もが自分でないと否定している
And Maria says herself, whether you can believe her or not, because of whatever personality issue she's got going on, she says that she's got it from a Beatrice. But if Beatrice doesn't physically exist, how did she get it?
つまり
Yeah, wait a minute. Hold on a
ベ
minute.
アトリーチェという
What the fuck?
19人目がいるように見せかけたい人間が18人の中にいるとなんだかぶっ飛んだ発想だなまだお袋の屋敷の外に不審者が潜んでいるって話の方が信憑性があるってもんだぜまさかバトラーはこの客間の中に犯人がいると疑っているのかよ
A part of me, still believes that there's a chance. There's a chance that somebody, truly believed in sacrifice in order to bring back Beatrice. That, or I guess Ava and Hideyoshi really wanted some goddamn money. I don't know. But a huge part of me thinks that there was somebody else out there. I mean, there's no way to be completely sure that there isn't somebody else out there, which or not. Like, we don't know. We actually don't have that certainty. Is there unlikeliness? Fuck yeah. But still, we're not certain.
ああ何者かが俺たちにベアトリーチェが存在すると
Hey, I'm cool with believing she exists if it, makes things easier. Doesn't, fix things, but it makes things a whole lot clearer.
そうさ夕べのあの手紙からもう事件は始まっていたんだ証拠も根拠も何もねえけどな鉄板を逆さにした限りじゃ俺の見立てはこんなところだ
Hey, the theories are,
分かっ
they're
ているにも程があるぜ
they're appreciated. Ideas are good.
妙な推理小説の読みすぎじゃねえのかよ
でも無視できない着眼点もあるね19人目がいるかいないかは別にしてもその犯人は確実にこの島のルールにのっとって何かを仕掛けてきている僕はね今バトラ君の話を聞いていて少しだけ気持ち悪いことを思い出してたんだよ
気持ち悪いことって
覚えてるかいベアトリーチェの手紙
Yes, I just brought it up.
ベアトリーチェは利子の回収を行うと言っていたね
Actually, I don't remember the contents of the letter. I kind of got, distracted by everything else going on.
そして利子とは後ろ宮家の全てだと言った
Jessica and I thought back on what Maria had read aloud that previous
言
night.
ってたぜ確かに言ってたそして利子の回収をこれから行うが黄金の謎を解いたらその権利を失うとも言ってたよな
Okay, what is interest then? The lives of the
おじい
people in
様
the
は
family?
黄金を授かり後ろ宮家を再興したつまり黄金を資本に生み出したもの全てが利子だっ
Yep,
て
there we go.
ベアトリーチェは言っているつまり
冗談きついぜ兄貴
Yeah, that's fucking... Ugh.
まさか後ろ宮家の全てつまりじい様が生み出したもの全てってことはじい様から血を分けた一族のことを指すってのかよ
あの手紙をそう読み解いたならこの殺人はベアトリーチェが行った正当な利子の回収ということになるとなればこの事件はまだ続くよ利子の回収はまだ途中なんだからね
George turned around, looking over the parlor. There was still many people who held the name Ushiromiya. Well, hold on a moment. Wait, you know what? Never mind. I was going to say, what about the servants? But the servants are also here because of the gold because of what Kinzo was able to build with the gold. And because Goda-san and Shunen-shan had been killed, we knew that not even the servants were safe despite lacking the Ushiromiya name. Yeah, there we go.
私たち全員をでもおかしいよジョージ兄さん。ならどうして6人だけ？他に大勢殺せたはず。
All I'm saying is that if more people die tonight or whenever, and if that more is 5, well, we just got our 11. Because I remember the epitaph saying something along the lines of the first twilight will be 6, and then the second will be 5, and then whatever else happens.
下手をすれば寝込みを襲って全員を一晩で殺すことも可能だったはず。どうしてそれをしなかったの？
特別条項だよ。黄金の謎を暴く者が現れたら李氏の権利は失われる。そして手紙の最後にはこう結ばれていたはずだよ。
I remember nothing,
おじい
George.
様の黄金の謎をみんなで解いてみろとね。
ジーザス、ようやく犯人のメッセージ
Why
が
did
分
you
かってきた
shout
じゃねえか。
Jesus? Why did you... Okay,
つま
whatever.
り
Battler being battler.
じい様のあの碑文の謎を解いてみやがると言ってるわけだ。しかもぼやぼやしてればどんどん李氏の回収を進めちまうつもりだ。
I realize this is all based on several guesses that are way out there. But not everything that happens in this world fits together in a perfect line. Most of the events we don't understand are only individual points. By fitting them into a straight line, we're beginning to understand. When the points at either end of the line are really close, the line itself is more logical and easier to understand. And when those points are really far away, the opposite is true. It's the distance between these points that make us say our guesses are way out there. However, if the distances we span are too narrow, that means our thinking will be narrow too. Is there a difference between making guesses and reasoning? Am I just using easily made guesses to try and force this crime into a pattern I can understand? Well, hold on now. The more ideas you bring up, the more you can take from each idea, from each theory. Because, sure, there might be some like doo-doo ass theories being thrown around here as to what happened, why did it happen, and who caused this to happen. But you can get some ideas from what is in other people's noggins and start to piece something together that you wouldn't have originally seen with your point of view, from your perspective. I think there's a lot to gain from sitting here and throwing stuff at the board because something might stick, more things might stick, and eventually come together. That, or I'm talking out of my ass and I have no idea how to solve a mystery. No, that's not it. When you're lost in the dark and searching around with your hands, what you're doing is relying on your imagination and making guesses. Only imagination can find the points that need to be tied together. Reasoning is nothing more than the act of drawing lines between them. If you can imagine, or if you can't imagine, you can't reason. What I'm doing now might be way out there, but I'm sure it isn't a mistake either. I think a mistake is just like not thinking about it at all. If you don't, then you're allowing things to just escape through. Only the power of imagination can pull clues out from the darkness, and then I can use the power of reasoning to tie those clues together. It was a lot like the process of searching out an enemy's weak spot and striking. It's okay if I'm way out there. Find a weak point first. Then we can think about how to strike. Right now is the time to find points that we can tie together later. Okay, maybe I am on the right track. I really wish they wouldn't show this perspective because I feel like at one point there's going to be like some eyes sticking out from beyond the fucking shrubs or whatever. And it's going to scare the absolute shit out of me. I can guarantee it. For the time being, I put aside whether a 19th person existed and announced our theory that the goal of the culprit might have been to make us solve the riddle of the epitaph. Uncle Hideyoshi seemed to be extremely interested, but Aunt Natsuhi said it was ridiculous and dismissed it.
確かにそう考えるとあの怪しい手紙も納得がいくっていうもんや。その動機はなかなかええ線をいっとると思うで。マリアちゃんに手紙を渡したのが誰かはさておきな。
おお、ベアトリーチェはいる。
Yeah, we know.
おお、
Even though she was puffing up her cheeks in that cute way that she'd been doing since yesterday, I couldn't think of it as cute. If I poked fun at her, it might suddenly transform into a creepy laugh.
隠し黄金など存在しません。ですが、その存在を盲信する犯人がそれを私たちに解かせて横領を企んでいるという動機はなるほどと頷けるものがあります。
You know, Natsuhi, your husband's dead, and remember that cool thing that he showed you yesterday?
しかし、
Maybe you should bring that up.
後宮家の主要な人物ばかりを最初に殺したのです。
道理ですな。謎を解かせるなら金蔵さんに近しい人物を先に殺すことは得策ではないはずです。
そうね。それにその論法で行くんだったら最初にお父様を脅迫した方が早くない？
Where's the fun in that?
私たちに謎を解かせるよりも本人に答えを聞いた方が早いはずよ。
なぜうちのじい様が脅されて何かに従うなんてちょっと想像もつかないぜ。
ジェシカ、言葉遣いがはしたないです。
She didn't even say anything bad.
はい。
ならこういう発想はどうだろう。いや、これもぶっ飛んでるか。
Well, he's trying. I couldn't hesitate. Out there, ideas are like bows and arrows. It might be hard to hit with, but it's a great weapon because you can hit enemies far away. They say most people who have died in battles were killed by arrow wounds. In a battle, you can't just shoot off one arrow. You shoot a whole bunch of arrows at once, pushing forwards towards the enemy troops with a wall of them. So keep shooting over and over. But you gotta aim too. You don't want to just, fire into random directions. Create a wall as you push forwards towards the truth.
犯人が隠された黄金が狙いってんなら、俺たちに解かせるのは効率が悪い。謎を作った本人に答えを聞く方が手っ取り早いさ。じゃあさ、これはつまり全てじい様に当てたメッセージってことじゃないのか。
I don't know. In other words, these murders were a threat made against grandfather. If he didn't tell the culprit where the gold was, his family members would be killed off one by one. That is actually a pretty smart way of looking at it, but I don't think that's the case either. What if we weren't the only ones being forced to solve this riddle? What if grandfather was too? If you think about it that way, it explains grandfather's mysterious disappearance. Yeah, he could be already dead, honestly. If the culprit has already attacked grandfather, then judging by the state of the 6 corpses we're left in, he should have been left on display somewhere with that horrible makeup added. But despite that, we still haven't found him. So does that mean grandfather has been kidnapped and is being held somewhere?
そんな。
Honestly, we should do some outside searching. Like, we should probably go to the guest house. It's been a while since we've been there. But I don't think people really want to go outside because, well, one, it's raining. But also, we don't want to go by that shed. We don't want to be reminded that, hey, there's 6 corpses in there with their faces torn off.
まさか、そんな。
面白い話じゃない？つまりお父様はどこかに監禁されていて黄金のありかを話さないと次々に殺人を繰り返すぞと。
その話のどこが面白いのか理解に苦しみます。
Aunt Natsuhi glared at her, but Aunt Ava just smiled calmly,
この
as
時
she
間になっ
tends
て
to
も
always
姿を
do.
現さない以上、おじい様が事件に巻き込まれているのはほぼ間違いないと思います。それを思えばバトラ君の仮説も無視することはできないんじゃないですか。
I'll just also throw this out there. It is very strange that this letter that we receive says, solve this riddle, but who made the riddle? Wasn't it Kinzo himself that had this, portrait of Beatrice as well as the epitaph put together? Was this a riddle that he was told about all those years ago when he received the gold, or was this something that he just, threw together?
ジョージは黙ってなさい。そもそもお父様っていついなくなったのかしら？
Yeah. Wait. This morning. So, this morning Natsuhi talked with him. He was in a bit of a different mood. The two of them actually had a pretty interesting conversation. But after that, poof, he's gone. But nobody could have entered his study. Only Natsuhi because she had the key. Unless somebody else has a way of entering, but I don't think that's the case. And everybody has been accounted for ever since this morning, right? So I don't think I don't think this was a disappearance, made by somebody taking him, but more so he left of his own accord. To where and why, though?
お父さんの姿を見たのは誰や？
多分私でしょう。今朝主人たちの姿が見えないと騒ぎになった時、お父様の書斎にいるかもしれないという話になり、私がお部屋にお伺いしてそこでご挨拶をしました。そういえば書斎の鍵をずっと借りっぱなしですね。源氏、これは返しておきます。
Aunt Natsuhi pulled out the gold key and handed it to Genji. Looking at the key, Aunt Ava giggled.
ねえ源氏さん、どうせ警察はお父様の部屋も徹底的に捜査すると思うわ。何を隠していてもどうせ暴かれちゃう。だったらちょっと早く今この場で話してくれてもいいんじゃないかしら。
I don't know if there's anything to say.
何のお話でしょうか。
お父様が不在である以上、後ろ宮家の最高序列者は私よ。
Yeah, I think we're all aware here.
その後ろ宮家の当主代行として聞いているの。
And I'm sure Genji himself is very much aware. I mean, he has to obey the family regardless.
それを理解した上で答えなさい。あの部屋には入り口以外に他に出入り口は？お父様の最高の側近だったあなたは知っているはずよ。
Aunt Natsuhi looked a little offended at the part about the highest ranked family member, but she kept her mouth closed for the time being and waited for Genji's answer. I couldn't help but feel a little uncomfortable. Why was she going on and on about hidden doors?
カノン君も熊沢さんも知ってるなら教えてくれない？あるならあるって言ってくれた方がいいの。
Now, I'm not completely writing off the possibility that there may have been some things that they were told by Kinzo that they were sworn to never tell another family member. So while they do, obey any family member here, especially those that are blood related, there might be some things that they actually cannot say.
じゃないと今からある人がとても追い詰められることになるわよ。隠し扉があると仮定されたら私の話は全て水の泡。
Aunt Ava didn't specify which person was about to be driven into a corner, but following the flow of the conversation, I had to feel that she was referring to Aunt Natsuhi, but she was always seen with somebody else. She was always with a servant. She was never by herself, was she?
母さん、何の話？
ジョージは少し黙ってなさい。
Stop telling him to stay quiet. He's actually asking some reasonable questions, and he's brought up some good shit for like a good hour now.
どうなの？源氏さん、カノン君、そして熊沢さん、隠し扉はあるの？ないの？源氏さんはお父様が書斎を改造した時、施工業者の監督をしていたはず。知らないとは言わせないわよ。
そのようなものは親方様の書斎にはありません。
間違いなく
I'm sure that he's sure.
片翼の場所を許されたカノン君。
はい、間違いなく親方様の書斎に隠し扉などありません。
熊沢さんは？
いえ、私も聞いたことがありませんよ。
お父様と親交の深い南條先生は？
私もそんなものは。
結構。じゃあいい？
Ah, fuck.
話を始めるわよ。
Oh, no.
とってもシンプルな話なの。
Oh, shit. Here we go. Everyone tilted their head doubtfully, wondering what Aunt Ava was starting to talk about so proudly. Aunt Ava laughed triumphantly, as though she were about to reveal a secret only she knew. I know what she's gonna do here.
お父様を最後に目撃したのは、詳しい時間は忘れちゃったけど、今朝の9時前くらいのことだと思ったわ。姉さん、覚えてる？私、あなたがお父様の書斎からちょうど出てくるところに出くわしたわよね。
Yes, and the two of you went down the stairs together.
ええ、覚えています。
Oh, thank you for continuing to show that you are holding a gun.
それが何だというの
You
ですか
gotta keep on reminding me, because I somehow keep forgetting.
そして次に姉さんがお父様の書斎を訪れたのは
With Genji, right?
兄さんたちの遺体が見つかってからよね。それを報告しに書斎に上がり、そこで私と一緒に不在を確認したわ。ところで姉さん、その時お父様の書斎に入ろうとして気づいたことはなかったかしら。
She noticed that gun, of which she, took.
気づいたこと？何のことですか？
ほら、ゴミを拾ったでしょ。畳んだレシートを。
What?
確かにそんなゴミを拾った気がします。それが何か？
そのレシートは私が飛行場に着く前に寄った売店で飴玉を買った時にもらったものよ。
What the? Aunt Ava pulled a small bag of candy out of her handbag.
ああ、あの時に買った飴のレシート。
What is she bringing up here?
でも母さん、そのレシートの話が何と関係あるの？
Is she saying that receipt was in the room?
ジョージ、もうちょい黙って聞いとってや。
Oh, come on. Just let the poor fucking lad speak. Uncle Hideyoshi's expression was a little strict. Apparently he understood what Aunt Ava was getting at. I
本当
don't
にこれは
yet.
気まぐれよ。何かを予見してたとか、ましてや夏日姉さんを罠にかけようとか、そんなのじゃ断じてないんだから。実はね、そのレシート、姉さんがお父様と最後に会って出てきて、そこで私と会ったでしょ。その時、書斎の扉に私が挟み込んだものなのよ。
Okay.
ってことはどういうこと
Yeah,
ですか？
yeah, yeah. What does that mean? Why is the rain all of a sudden louder?
つまり夏日おばさんがそのレシートを拾うまで誰もドアを開けていない。
ちょっと待ってよエヴァおばさん。レシート挟むなんてバレバレだって。小さまが外出した時に気づいて面白がってもう一回挟み直した可能性も。
Jessica hurriedly argued back. She still didn't really know what this all meant, but she realized that, whatever it was, it would raise suspicions about her own mother.
なぜそんな子供じみたいたずらをされるのか理解できません。大方、私の部屋の扉にいたずらをしたのもあなたでしょう。
Yeah, that one still sticks out to me. I don't think that was a prank.
夏日さんの部屋の扉？
不愉快な話だったので話しませんでしたが、今朝目が覚めたら扉の外側にあのシャッターの落書きと同じと思われる赤い塗料でいたずらがされていたのです。かきむしったような気持ちの悪い跡で。
なんやその話。なんで今まで黙っとったんや。
Yeah, I do feel like this should have been brought up like a whole lot earlier, but at least it's being addressed now.
申し訳ありません。あの後立て続けにいろいろと恐ろしいことが起こったため、今の今まで失念していました。
知らないわよそんなの。私がしてるのは姉さんの部屋じゃなくてお父様の部屋の扉の話よ。
Yes, yes, keep the focus on that door, not your door.
姉さんがお父様がいるのを確認してから私と一緒に不在を確認するまでの間、扉を使わずどうやってお父様は外に出たのかしら。
そんなことは知りません。私が知りたいくらいです。
夏日姉さんの他にお父さんの在室を確認したのは誰や。
ゆうべ金蔵さんとチェスをしたのがあった最後ですが、夕食の直前までご一緒だったはずです。
それより後の時間は誰かおらんのか。
I don't think anyone did.
私です。
Oh, okay, except Genji.
昨夜の晩餐のお世話をしております。
はい、僕とシャノンも一緒でした。
ここまでは間違いなくお父さんも部屋にいたやろな。だがな、夏日姉さん、不在だった書斎は窓も扉も全て閉め切られた状態だったそうやないか。なのに夏日さんは今朝お父さんに会って話をした言うと。
The crazy thing is that we know. Oh, I smacked my microphone. The crazy thing is that we all know that he was there, that they had a conversation, but nobody else knows. The only person that does know among the characters here is Natsuhi, who is now being accused.
私には皆さんが何を険悪になっているのか分かりません。どなたか 説明してくださいますかな。
父さんと母さんは夏日おばさんが今朝おじい様に会ったというのは嘘だと言っているのかい。
嘘なんかつくもんかよ。母さんは潔白だぜ。なんで嘘なんかつくんだよ。
ジェシカ
Oh, here we go.
言葉遣いを直しなさいといつも言っています。
She's fine, she's fine. All at once, the whole room was in an uproar. Yep, once you start pointing fingers at one another, oh boy. Aunt Ava and Aunt Natsuhi confronted each other across the parlor table, with George confronting Jessica. What the heck's going on?
複数の人間の目撃があるのは昨晩までよ。でも今朝以降、お父様の姿を見たと称するのは夏日姉さんただ一人。そして私の挟んだレシートが物語る奇妙な事実。さあ、この点と点はどうやれば結べるのかしら？
I don't know. This shit's a little fucking confusing all of a sudden. Aunt Ava urged everyone to imagine it. Sure, that receipt could become an important point, but I didn't know which other points to tie it to or how. If we try searching for the answer Aunt Ava probably wants, we'll find that Aunt Natsuhi lied and acted as though grandfather was in the room this morning. Has that fact been exposed by a whim of Aunt Ava's?
わけわかんねえぜ。なんで母さんが嘘をつかなきゃならないんだよ。その理由がねえじゃねえかよ。
その理由は私も知りたいわよ。でもね、ジェシカちゃん、お父様の材質を偽る価値が全くないとは限らないのよ。推理小説でもたまに出てくるでしょ。生存時刻を偽ることによって自分のアリバイを偽証するトリックよ。
なんだそりゃ。そんなの聞いたことないぜ。
お父様はまだ見つからないけれど、普通に考えればもう殺されていると考えるのが自然でしょうね。
Hold your horses. Let's say Natsuhi did kill him. Where's his body? It can't just disappear, which is indeed the case. There's no signs in that room, I'm sure, of there being a murder. Natsuhi and Genji went up there together, right? I'm pretty goddamn sure they did. But nothing of note was there by Genji. Genji did not state anything. And Genji is loyal to Kinzo. I don't think that's the case.
となれば、必ず近いうちに死体は見つかる。その時、死亡時刻をうまく偽ることができれば、夏日姉さんはアリバイを作ることができるのよ。わかる？みんな？
Oh, this is fun. This morning when Aunt Natsuhi confirmed that grandfather was there, she lied. And he was already dead at that time? And then she moved the body to some other location and tampered with it so that when we find it, we'll think that he was killed just a second ago. That would make it impossible for her to create an alibi even just by staying with the rest of us. Then she could say, I heard someone screaming, dash over there, and become the first to find the body along with everyone else. Is that what Aunt Ava is saying? I think so. That's the idea that I'm getting here. As fucking crazy as all this shit is.
推理小説など所詮は娯楽小説。そんなものばかり読んでいるから、そのような不謹慎な発想に至るのです。
そうだぜ。死亡時刻を少しくらいごまかしたって、そんなの警察が検視すりゃ一発でバレるじゃねえかよ。古典の世界だったらともかく、現代日本でそんなトリック本気で通用すると思ってんのかよ。
I think the idea here is that since we don't have a connection to the police, or really the outside world, maybe they can get away with that idea?
おかしいぜ。
そうかしら。今朝、南條先生が亡くなった人たちの死体を見て、死亡時刻を曖昧に見積もられたわよ。検視結果は環境や個体差に非常に左右されやすい。数時間単位で誤差の出る非常にアバウトなものなのよ。しかも困ったことに、警察の科学的な捜査は明日にならないとできない。そこまでの正確な死亡時刻を測ることなんて、ジェシカちゃんの言う現代日本でもそうそう簡単なことじゃないのよ。
I'm glad you're very informed on this topic.
ねえ、南條先生。
検視は経験と勘の必要な非常に難しい作業です。誤審率も非常に高いと聞いております。確かにほんの数時間程度の誤差を出してしまうことは大いにあり得るでしょうな。
しかしアリバイの世界は数時間もあれば十分やで。古典のトリックとちゃう。十分に通用するトリックなんや。夏日姉さん、わしらあんたを疑いたいわけやないんや。
Oh, it's not that we're wanting to suspect you, but we're kind of having to suspect you.
疑いとうないから潔白を示してほしいだけなんや。
何の潔白を示せというのですか。今朝私は確かにお父様にお会いしました。そして心の中に片翼のわしを刻めとお言葉をいただいて、あのお言葉をも否定するというのですか。
I mean, it doesn't sound like something he would say. It sounds crazy that he would say something like that.
それだけは断じて許せません。
So I don't think that's going to help her case whatsoever.
お父様がかけられた言葉までも否定することは。
あるいはお父様の遺体は出てこないのかしら。普通失踪は死亡宣告に7年かかるもの。
Again, you are ridiculously informed on this topic.
余命残りわずかなお父様を7年も延命し、その財産を独占するにはなんともうまいやり方じゃない。
Oh, Jesus fucking Christ.
聞き捨てなりません。
Alrighty.
それ以上は聞き捨てがなりません。
I don't think you're supposed to be pointing that at people.
私は後ろ宮夏、この身に片翼のわしをまとう資格はなくとも胸の中にしかと刻まれています。当主跡継ぎのクラウスの妻としてその責務を代行する私に向かって何たる暴言。
何？その銃で私を撃つの？いいわよ。撃っちゃえば。
Oh, you gotta love it. You gotta love it when people are just fucking arguing with one another. When things get heated, especially over those that have been killed. When you're being accused of killing, you know, anybody, especially family.
どうせ言い逃れも思いつかなくて苦し紛れなんでしょ。やりなさいよ。
Don't do it. Don't fucking do it. That would be committing murder. If she shot her, or even like injuring somebody, like you are fucked. Absolutely fucked. You're being egged on. It's ridiculous. It wasn't like Aunt Natsuhi had been actually holding that gun at the ready and threatening anyone, but she was egged on by Aunt Ava, goddamn, like quite literally, and she did hold it at the ready. Unsurprisingly, once things got to this stage, Jessica and Genji-san tried to stop her.
奥様、どうかお気をお静めください。
母さんは嘘なんかついてない。ならこんなの聞き捨てなきゃ。
落ち着いてえな、夏日姉さん。確かにお父さんは部屋にいたと誓ってくれればいいんやで。それだけなのになんでそんなに取り乱しとるんや。
それもそうです。夏日さんは嘘をついていない。それだけのことじゃありませんか。
Honestly, like she literally just said what she did and what she was told by him. Like she's pretty much done her part.
だから説明してほしいのよ。お父様がどうやって部屋からいなくなったのか。窓は内側からしっかり閉じられていた。扉も同じよ。今朝夏日姉さんが間違いなくお父様に会ったというなら、夏日姉さんには開かぬ扉の密室からいかにしてお父様が部屋からいなくなったかを説明してもらわなくちゃ。
Why can't we use our big brains to try and figure that out for ourselves?
じゃないと姉さんが嘘つきってこと。あなたという人、反論したいならぜひしなさいな。そうね、今すぐこの場で釈明をしてみなさい。そうしたらあなたを疑ったことを謝ってあげてもいいわ。あの書斎の密室からお父様はいかにして抜け出したのか。
Place your bets now. Do you think she'll shoot her?
そんなこと説明もできませんし。
そうなら私が説明してあ
Ah,
げるわよ。
great. Here we fucking go.
私の立場も姉さんの立場もいいとこ取りのとても仲良しな説明
Oh,
なん
I'm sure it's gonna
だ
be
から。
greatly friendly.
姉さんの言う 今朝の時点でお父様が在室していたことを信じてあげるわよ。でも次に扉が開かれた時にお父様はいなかった。ここまでは依存ないわよね。
あなたの言うことにこれ以上耳を傾ける気はありません。その軽薄な口を慎みなさい。
Yeah, you tell her.
私の推理はこうよ。扉から姉さんしか出入りしていないことは私が2回確認している。そしてレシートもそれを立証している。
Okay.
にもかかわらずお父様を部屋から出すパズルの答えは
I don't fucking know.
窓よ。窓から出したのよ。夏日姉さんはお父様を3階の書斎の窓から中庭に突き落としたのよ。
Okay. Jesus Christ. Well, first off, calm down. But also, what? So she threw him out the window and then sealed the window back shut? Is that what she's arguing? Then when they were searching the perimeter, after they saw the bodies... Wait, did they search the perimeter? They searched the perimeter at one point. I think looking for Kinzo. So yeah, it was after the bodies had been found. They would have come across a corpse, no? Uh-oh. That's a lot of U's.
奥様、来ないでください。
エヴァ様、どうかおやめくださいませ。
その後、中庭に転落して死んだお父様の遺体は夏日姉さんが屋敷内の戸締まりを確認すると
She was with someone,
出
right?
て行った時にどこかへ隠したのよ。
She was with someone.
多分その時に死亡時刻を偽る工作もしたんでしょうね。
クラウス兄さんたちの事件も、さらに昨べのビアトリーチェの事件もひっくるめて、ナスシさんが怪しい可能性が非常に高いっちゅうことだ。
Oh my god.
本当ならこんなことを言いたくはない。
She is just getting set the fuck up here.
だがもうぶちまけてしまったか
She
らには
is
仕
set up
方がない。
100%.
頼むわ、夏日姉さん。どうか自分の無実を説明してくれんか。侍とわしはあんたを疑わなきゃならんのや。
Oh man, Hideyoshi, why?
なぜこの私が後ろ宮夏日がこのような恥ずかしめを。
Uh-oh. What's going on here? What the fuck's going on? Looks like we've got everyone's views on record now. What the fuck? Battler, what's going on with you?
ダメだな。全然ダメだぜ、エヴァおばさん。
ダメって何がだよ、バトラ。
Has he seen like a hole in what's going on here? Jessica looked up at me, hanging on to my every word. Aunt Ava's expression was as confident as ever.
全然ダメって何が？バトラ君、聞かせてよ。
一方からしか見られないから、夏日おばさんしかありえないって思い込んじまうのさ。
Oh, you're gonna do the fucking let's spin this shit around and do the gritty on the chessboard.
別に夏日おばさんを擁護するわけじゃねえが、そんなハったりのチェックメイトじゃレシートを軸にした推理はまずまずだとは思う。筋は悪くない。だが俺の採点じゃせいぜい65点ってとこだ。これが答案なら居残りで補修ってとこだぜ。
あら、じゃあレシートで封印されている扉をどうやって破ってお父様を失踪させられるというの？
エヴァおばさんの説は確かに面白い。
It is. I mean, the idea that whoever was last there fucking kicked him out the window, he fell to the ground, died on impact or whatever, and then somebody, went out there and, dug a hole or whatever and stuffed his body in, covered the hole or whatever, and well, there you go. You just committed the perfect crime.
そしてその説以外にじい様が失踪できる方法がないって言い切れるなら。
Again, this is all under the idea that the man didn't just fucking walk out on his own. Shit, there might be a possible, another route to get out of there. He could have quite literally just hopped out the window and somehow got it sealed shut again. I don't know. There's something that we're not seeing here, but we're jumping to conclusions anyways.
最終目撃者である
And assuming that he
夏代おばさん
died.
が黒であると確かに言い切れるだろう。だが夏代おばさんが無実で濡れ衣である可能性が残っている以上、
ならバトラ君は夏日姉さん以外の誰にお父様を失踪させられたというの？
What if Kinzo made Kinzo disappear?
ねえ、
Again,
しか
not a bad
あり
idea
え
to
ない
think that way, that he just decided to walk out and, go do his own thing. Maybe he's done with Umineko. Maybe he wants to go to the next When They Cry series. I don't fucking know.
私のレシートが
We
それ
don't
を証
know
明してしま
these
ったわ。
things yet. We don't have enough information. I really do feel like we're just trying to jump to a conclusion already.
一度目に書斎に訪れた夏日姉さん。
What happened to like throwing ideas at the chalkboard and hoping that something sticks?
そして二度目に私と訪れるまでの間、書斎は完全に密室で密室開封後には失踪している。これで夏日姉さんが犯人じゃないというなら、どんなトリックがあるっていうの？
だから65点なんだよ、エヴァおばさん。
You're stuck on that 65 points idea here.
じゃあこれ
Only 65.
チェス盤
Oh,
を
there
ひ
we
っくり
go.
返す。
There we fucking go. He said it.
どうやって外部からじい様を失踪させるかじゃない。どうやって内部からじい様が失踪するかって考えるんだ。
There it fucking is.
扉にはレシートが挟まれていたから使用されていない。窓も出ることはできても外側からは施錠できず、しかもエヴァおばさんは書斎を訪れた時に窓の施錠を確認している。だから窓も使用されていない。その時点では確かに書斎は密室だった。これは認めるしかない。
Okay, I'll accept it. Fuck it.
だが
I'm
し
cool
か
with that
し
idea.
書斎は永遠に密室だったわけじゃない。レシートの封印さえ解かれれば扉は使用可能になり脱出可能になる。つまり夏日おばさんがどうやってじい様を失踪させたかじゃない。どうやってじい様は書斎を脱出したのかって考えるんだよ。
That's what I'm trying to think. That's exactly the direction I want to go in here.
ただの書斎じゃねえんだよな。源氏さんの話じゃトイレからキッチン、ベッドルームまであるちょいとした家並みじゃねえか。例えばベッドの下にでも潜って隠れたらおばさんたちは部
Nah,
屋からい
it
なくなった
would
と思い
not
込
have
む
been
ぜ。
that simple, but the idea is there. What if he was just hiding? What if he actually didn't leave, but because it looked like he wasn't present and he was just in a very well thought out hiding spot in this very elaborate room, they assumed that he wasn't there, meaning that the window remained shut and so did the door, with the receipt still tucked in nicely on the edge of it.
エヴァおばさんもそこまで調べてきたわけじゃねえだろ。そしておばさんたちは失踪したと思い開花へ戻る。この時レシートはもうない。つまりじい様は密室である間は部屋にエヴァおばさんたちをやり過ごした後に部屋から脱出することでこの密室を破ることができる。
He had to wait for the idea.
何よそれ。
The idea had to be in everybody's mind that he was missing before he actually went missing.
どうしてお父様がそんな妙なことをして部屋を抜け出さなきゃならないの？口頭無形にも程があるわよ。
ああ、口頭無形かもな。
But you want to know what else is absurd?
だがそれでも
Exactly that.
夏代おばさんが濡れ衣かもしれない可能性は示してる。
It's absurd to also say that she is to be accused here. That's the only way that you can look at it.
エヴァおばさんのレシートは完璧じゃねえ。チェスで言えばチェックくらいにはなったろ。だがチェックメイトじゃねえ。そして俺が最高に気に入らねえのは
Is what?
それを夏日おば
Yes,
さんに
that.
釈明しろ
Perfect.
と
Thank you,
迫って
Battler.
それができなきゃ黒だって断定しようとしたエヴァおばさんのその論法さ。それがまかり通るってんだな。この後ろ宮バトラー。ここでもう一回チェス盤をひっくり返させてもらおうじゃねえか。
How many fucking times can you spin the goddamn board? Are we in court now?
あんたの論法によるならよ、あんたと秀吉おじさんが昨日親父たち6人を殺害してから
Oh,
のこのことゲストハウスに帰ったんじゃないってことをこの 夏日おばさんに釈明を強いたんだ。
Oh my
あ
god.
んたにはもちろん
Oh my god.
自身の潔白を釈明できるんだろうな。
Man, he's not just spinning this board, he's fucking flipping it.
じいさまの遺産が全部転がり込むエヴァおばさんよ。
そうだぜ。エヴァおばさんだって十分怪しいじゃねえかよ。
You can really argue that a lot of people in this room are suspicious to a degree.
母さんがじいさまの最終目撃者だから怪しいって言うなら、エヴァおばさんだって父さんたちの最終目撃者じゃないか。バトラの言う通りだぜ。自分たちは殺してないってことを証明してみせろよ。
僕もお母さんの推理は少し勇み足だと思うな。
Yeah, a little.
レシートの件
A
は
little?
確かに重要なヒントだと思う。でもそれはバトラ君の言う通り、夏日おばさんが何がしかの犯人であることを断定できるものじゃない。僕たちは等しく夏日おばさんだけが責められる道理はない。
Yeah, I'm right there with you, George.
誇り高きお父様が床に這いつくばってベッドの下に。
Proud father? What the fuck? He's been like mixing potions and doing black magic and who else knows up there for years. And he shouts Beatrice out the window at least like 3 times a day. What part of that is fucking proud? The fact that he's, you know, rich and that he like rebuilt the family, sure. But come on now. Fucking come on. He's already doing some goofy ass shit.
それならエヴァおばさんが先に説明しろよ。特によ、誰がどうやって殺して、そして自分が関わっていないという証拠を示してみろってんだ。
Calm down now. Breathe. Okay, wait, is there actually a problem with Jessica? What's going on? She having like a panic attack? The fuck just happened?
お嬢様。
Yeah, she's having a bit of an issue. And so am I. I've been recording for way too long. Yeah, we gotta wrap it up here, guys. I just fucking couldn't stop. Like, this shit is so great. It's so much fun. I want to know what's happening. I want to know what's going to happen, honestly. But alas, we have definitely been recording for a bit longer than I wanted to. So I'm leaving us on this lovely cliffhanger, which also means I'm leaving my ass on this cliff to hang. Doesn't look like there's any more tips in the old grimoire, but I wanted to look at the letter one more time, and I don't, you know what, I'll look at it on my own time, but I just want to verify a couple of things and make sure that I'm not missing anything. And, you know, as you know, messed up as it sounds from George, I mean, there might be something in there that might lead us in a direction to why things happened the way they did the night that letter came in. I don't know, but thank you all for tuning in to this one. This was a wild one. You know, it all took place in this one room, but a lot went down, and it really shows how easy it is to just, you know, break the walls of trust here in the family and just start accusing each other of committing this horrible crime. And honestly, my suspicions grow larger of both Hideyoshi, unfortunately, and Ava. Ava I didn't like for a while now, but honestly, these two really just gang the fuck up on Natsuhi, and I'm not the biggest Natsuhi fan here, but I don't think that's right. From what we saw from the player perspective, which means nobody else except Natsuhi, no. She is definitely not in the wrong here. She definitely could have been killed, I think, if we want to go the wicked route, and that, you know, maybe Beatrice was wandering around looking for people to kill and Natsuhi was on the list. But I don't know. She definitely talked with Kinzo, and that was a good conversation to be had. But whatever else happened there, we don't know. And they're trying to throw that shit on Natsuhi, which, honestly, very fucked up. And we all know it. Well, anyways, thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed. If you did, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, all that fancy jazz. And I will see you all in the next one. Take it easy.